So Adam, what's the maximum number of events that I can put in my timeline?
That's a good question, and the short answer is that when we're testing our software and we're testing new features, the largest timelines we're testing are about 1,000 events, so that we know that you can safely put up to about 1,000 events in your timeline, and probably even more before the performance gets so sluggish that you wouldn't want to add any more events. But the answer is not quite as simple as saying, go ahead and put 1,000 events in your timeline, because it really depends on how you're going to present your timeline and also the theme of your timeline. When we first made the software several years ago, I was thinking about timelines that would be printed out on a single piece of paper. And really, if you lay out a timeline on a single piece of paper, about 10 to 20 events is, a number that looks clear and you can get it in a nice big font and read it on a piece of paper. So that's what the software was originally optimized for. But quickly I heard back from a lot of customers, they weren't so interested in printing it out. They wanted to display it on screen, and they wanted a lot more events. So since then, we've made the software optimized for several hundred events and added this 3D presentation mode, which is really good for presenting timelines that have in the maybe 50 to 100 event range. That's how big the timelines are that I use for demonstrations when I'm showing off the software. And then there's a few customers that want to do these giant wall-size posters. They take their timelines to a print shop and they have them printed out poster size on a plotter or a large-scale printer. And sometimes those timelines can have hundreds of events or up to 1,000 events. Maybe they're trying to show the history of the world or all the important events that happened in their life. I'd really encourage you, though, to think about what is the message of my timeline? What is it that I'm trying to teach somebody with this timeline? Or what is the message I'm trying to communicate with my chart? And try to limit your events to the events that are going to really highlight that theme. If you have too much extra information on your chart, it's going to be hard to make sense of it as a viewer. And think about which events do I want to draw attention to, and put the pictures and the notes on those events. The other events that just give context, maybe they're just a title and a date. You don't need the picture and the notes for every single event. So I think a practical limit is closer to 50 to 100 events, just because of the readability of the timeline. But if you have a need for many hundreds of events, that's perfectly okay in our software too. I'd like to ask our customers, though, anybody watching this video, if you have created timelines with many, many events, many hundreds of events, why don't you share your experiences in the comments? Let us know what works well for you. How do you present those timelines? And how did it go adding so many events? I'd love to hear some different opinions on this. Thanks.